Meow y'all, and welcome back to another video. The ages of all of the bachelors and bachelorettes aren't disclosed and are overall a mystery, but I think we can piece together some evidence and theorize which age groups they belong in. That's what we'll be discussing today, so buckle up. If you don't know me, I'm Sauter. I make Stardew Valley YouTube videos featuring long plays, game challenges, lore and theory crafting and analyses, so if you've got any feedback or suggestions for the next video, feel free to leave a comment down below and hit that subscribe button for more. First things first, although we haven't been explicitly given any definitive number for any of their ages, we have been told in secret note number 7, there are only a few older bachelors in town, and none of them are perfect. Harvey is really anxious and weak, but I know he would make a loyal and devoted husband. He likes coffee and pickles. Elliot is a bit foppish and melodramatic, but he does have a nice chin. He likes crab cakes and pomegranates. Shane is messy and antisocial, but I think his gruff exterior is a defense mechanism, insulating his softness from the world. He likes beer, pizza, and pepper poppers. And in Concerned Apes devlog update number 12, Harvey's description reads, Harvey is the town doctor. He's a little old for a bachelor, but he has a kind heart and a respected position in the community. So, Harvey, Elliot, and Shane are the oldest bachelors. This is a fact. So let's start with these three before continuing on to the rest of the bachelors and bachelorettes. For the three oldest bachelors, I'm going to put Harvey as number 1 as the oldest. My reasoning is that he's a doctor, and although Stardew Valley is a fantasy game, there are a lot of real-life parallels, and I think we can safely assume that in order to become a doctor, it's going to take years of medical school. In order to get the money to open up your own clinic and employ a nurse, that's also going to take a lot of time. I think it's safe to say that Harvey is going to belong in the 36 to 40 age range, making him the oldest of all of the bachelors and bachelorettes. Now, Elliot and Shane are really interesting. I actually did a community post and asked y'all who y'all thought was older, Elliot or Shane, and the responses were really interesting. What's more interesting is that the poll was split perfectly 50-50 for hours, and probably still is by the time this video gets posted. Since neither of them went through anything like medical school, which inherently takes a long time to do and would put someone into a certain age group, we have to look at a lot of pieces of evidence to figure out where they belong. Based on looks alone, Shane seems older than Elliot, but that's really just him slacking on shaving. The 5 o'clock shadow really ages him, I think. Elliot is clean shaven and has a really happy and positive disposition, which makes him feel more youthful. If you reach 8 hearts with Elliot, he'll say, "Sorry, I'm feeling morose today. I wish there was more certainty about the future. I don't want to grow old as a lonely hermit on this beach." In my experience, when people start saying things like, "I don't want to grow old," and this happens, I find them to be in the age range where they're looking for stability and consistency. They're looking to settle down a little bit, whether that's regarding their career, their lifestyle, their home, or relationship. When you marry Elliot, he can say to you, "I've been keeping a journal ever since we moved in together. Now that I actually have a life, I have lots to write about. I want to make sure I always remember these years." He's always been the romantic type, so his "now that I actually have a life" is definitely supposed to be a cute little remark. He definitely had things to live for before getting married, but these dialogues from him make me think of him as a little more mature than Shane. I'm going to put Elliot in the 30 to 35 age group, which leaves Shane as the youngest of the 3 oldest bachelors. However, Shane is also going to go in the 30 to 35 age group. I really do think Elliot would only be like a year or 2 older than Shane. If I have to put exact numbers on it, I'd say Elliot is probably 34 and Shane would be like 32 or something like that. Now, I'll explain why I think Shane is early 30s, whereas Elliot is more so mid 30s, but let me preface that I am also in my 30s, so I don't want anyone thinking that I'm calling all people in their 30s old. There's this weird obsession that society has with aging and with being young forever, and there's this kind of weird blanket assumption that once you're over the age of 29, you're automatically old, which is all ridiculous, and I don't agree with it. Putting that aside for just a second, I think Shane is early 30s for a few reasons. If you're not familiar, Shane isn't actually related to Jazz by blood in any way, shape, or form. Marnie is truly his aunt, but Jazz isn't related to Marnie either. If you gain enough hearts with Jazz and speak to her on Sundays only, she'll state, "Did you know Shane's my godfather? He was a friend of my parents. They died." So Shane was living somewhere else before Pelican Town, maybe Zuzu City, and his best friends suddenly pass away, leaving their daughter in Shane's care. We don't know exactly how this happens, but we know that Shane and Jazz move in with Marnie and she starts helping with raising Jazz. After Joja Mart is closed, Shane can say to us, "If I could reset my life, maybe I'd start a chicken farm." Only free-range eggs, of course. And after marrying him and having high enough hearts, he can also say, life on the farm sure beats working at Joja. That place was disgusting. You thought it was depressing out front? Kid, you should see the back room. Alright, so now I'm about to swing a bat at a hornet's nest. I don't know what it is, but people that talk about resetting their life and talking to other people their same age and calling them kid, it just reeks of someone in their early 30s. And listen, it's just my experience, but people that talk about, I'm so old, all the time are always people in their early 30s. It's like they feel like they're over the hump and society is now glaring at them for being old. Kind of what I was saying earlier about how weird society is once you hit the age of 30. It's like you belong in a retirement home or something. So because of Shane's dialogues and the fact that he was trusted in the first place to be Jazz's godfather, I'm going to put him in the 30 to 35 age group, but still slightly younger than Elliot. Moving on to the rest of the bachelors and bachelorettes. We're going to still stay in the category of 30 to 35 because we've got our first bachelorette, Leah. Leah's description in Concerned Apes devlog number 12 states, Leah lives alone in a small cabin just outside of town. She loves to spend time outside, foraging for a wild meal, or simply enjoying the gifts of the season. She's a talented artist with a large portfolio of work. Yes, she's too nervous to display it to the public. Maybe you can give her a little confidence boost. So she has a large art portfolio, and her sculptures take time to make. They're not done overnight. She's obviously been an artist for quite a few years. Leah can randomly ask you, "So why did you become a farmer?" If you answer, "I wanted to escape my old life," she'll respond with, "That's pretty much the reason I came here too." So she left the city behind, bought a cabin in the woods all by herself. We're not sure what the economy is in the city, but in the opening scene in the game, our farmer is stuck behind a desk, exhausted and completely unmotivated. I just don't see the average person in the city making that much money and having a healthy work-life balance. So I think Leah must have saved up quite a bit of money in order to buy herself a cabin in the woods, and that means years of work. We know she didn't strike gold by selling an art piece worth millions or anything like that because she's so shy and nervous about showing her art to anyone else. In her two-heart event, you can enter her cabin while she's working on a sculpture. She states, "I have to admit, it's not easy to pay the bills as an artist." So I think we can safely assume that it was many years of hard work in the city to get her to where she is now, in her cozy cabin in Pelican Town. Let's not forget that the only reason that we have our gorgeous farmhouse is because we inherited it. Real estate does not come cheap in Pelican Town, and there's not a lot of options either. That's going to leave Leah in the 30 to 35 age group. Next up is Emily, who is also going to stay in this age group, leaning more towards just plain 30. She lives with her sister Haley and seems more mature than her, as she's usually the one delegating chores and such. This could mean that she's just very clean and organized, but she has a few interesting dialogues. "I wish Haley would get a job, or at least contribute to cooking and cleaning. I think she's hoping to marry somebody rich. I work part-time at Gus's saloon. It pays the bills. I'm just working at Gus's to make ends meet. But my real passion is tailoring. I made these clothes from scratch, see?" So she's basically head of the household and is also in charge of the finances in the house. Their parents have also been away traveling the world for the last 2 years, Emily tells us. So they obviously felt safe leaving the house in charge of Emily since she's so mature. We have our next age group, 26 to 29, starting with Sebastian at 29. Sebastian has a full-time job working from home, but this dialogue that he shares after marrying him is really insightful. "I'm trying my best to quit smoking now that we're married. I don't want to die on you. It's a bad habit. I want to have a future together." This just feels like it's spoken by someone that didn't pick up smoking just last year. I think he's been smoking for a while now, and I really don't think a mom like Robin would have allowed him to start smoking as a kid or anything like that. If you're married to Sebastian and for whatever reason you get his hearts low enough, he'll state, "I started smoking again. I've just been really stressed out lately." His smoking has definitely been in his life for quite some time. This doesn't feel like some 19-year-old with a bad habit to me at all. Concerned Apes Dev Update number 12 states, "Sebastian is a rebellious loner who lives in his parents' basement. He is Maru's older half-brother. Because of this devlog, I think I'm going to put Sebastian in the same age group as Maru, but Sebastian is going to be 29, whereas Maru is going to be 27, a 2-year difference. Concerning Maru, I did some research before making this video and looked online and read others' thoughts and opinions on the ages of the characters. I was surprised at how many people characterize characters based solely on the fact that they still live with their family. We touched on it a little bit when talking about Leah, but let's look at the facts some more. Pelican Town is not a thriving, rich, and bustling town with constant income coming in. This is confirmed through various dialogues from various different characters, and I go into more details about this in my video, Is Pelican Town Doomed?, where I explain my theory that Pelican Town is a dead town. We can see that Pelican Town is pretty stuffed with buildings. If a new house were to be built from the ground up, where would it even go? It'd have to go in the woods near Marnie and Leah's house. And in order to buy the land, cut down all the trees, and build a house from the ground up, an incredible amount of money would be needed. That's probably why when we get married in the game, the person we marry just moves in with us. So the fact that Maru lives with her family, the fact that most of the characters live with their family, is not going to inherently lock them into any age groups. We have to look at other evidence. In Concerned Apes devlog number 12, it states, growing up with a carpenter and a scientist for parents, Maru acquired a passion for creating gadgets at a young age. When she isn't in her room fiddling with tools and machinery, she sometimes does odd jobs at the local clinic. Friendly, outgoing, and ambitious, Maru would be quite a lucky match for a lowly newcomer such as yourself. Can you win her heart, or will she slip through your fingers and disappear from your life forever? So, odd jobs at the local clinic. When we see Maru in the clinic, she is wearing a nurse uniform, but we're not sure of her exact medical training or anything like that. She states, on Tuesdays and Thursdays I work at Harvey's clinic. He says he likes having me around in case his medical equipment goes haywire. Being a farmer must be pretty easy, huh? Hey, sorry if I seem cranky. I'm a little sore from work yesterday. I had to sort patient records for 4 hours straight. So we're not sure if Maru went to medical school and has a nursing degree, but she does have access to all of the patient's records and works the front desk. She does odd jobs for Harvey like repairing medical equipment, and obviously that's due to her mechanical expertise, but that does also require some medical knowledge. Anywho, I think Maru has done some schooling of some sort after high school, maybe to become a medical assistant, some certification or something like that. And I also think that she's been working with Harvey for years at this point. Next, we're going to have Penny, who I think is closer to 26 years old. I'm basing this theory on a few things. Firstly, the fact that she's a teacher. We're not sure exactly what her credentials are, but we know that Penny takes great pride in providing a solid education to Jazz and Vincent. If there were any online classes, certifications, or courses that she could take, she absolutely would be taking them. And we know that online classes are possible to do in Pelican Town because Abigail does them as well. So I think Penny would have spent a few years learning how to teach and advancing her education herself to the best of her ability. We also get dialogue concerning her relationship with her mother that makes me feel as though this age range is perfect for her. If you reach 8 hearts with her, she'll say, I'm eager to move out. It's such a burden to be worrying about mom all the time. I want her to be happy, but I can't stay here forever, you know. Her relationship with her mother is strained at best. These words are coming from someone that's burnt out from being a caretaker and from being in charge of all the household duties. However, reach 10 hearts with her and she'll state, player? A farm seems like a good place for children, don't you think? It was just a thought I had. So Penny doesn't inherently hate caretaking or being in charge of chores or anything like that. And in fact, she loves children. And after you marry her, she enjoys being in charge of the household. She's just tired of dealing with Pam. I theorize that the relationship between Pam and Penny has been like this not only throughout her entire childhood, but well into her adulthood. For years, she's fed up. Penny's age range is right here. Our last category, 22 to 25. Haley and Alex have known each other their whole lives, so I assume they're only a year apart at best. Although I think Alex is pretty mature for taking care of his grandparents, he does show an immature side quite a bit. And we already know that Haley can be pretty immature concerning household chores and bringing in an income, based on what Emily has said. I'm going to put Haley and Alex a little closer to age 25. Concerning Abigail, if you get Caroline to 6 hearts, you can unlock a cutscene where you enter Pierre's shop and see an argument between Caroline and Abigail. Stop telling me how to live my life. Hey, cut it out. We're letting you live here free of charge until you finish school. It seems like you don't appreciate that at all. Stop trying to make me feel guilty. I appreciate that you and Dad are helping me out, but expecting me to dress the way you want is ridiculous. I'm not a little girl anymore. You're right. I'm sorry. So Abigail still is in school, and her mom is still having such difficulty viewing Abigail as an adult woman that can choose how she lives her life. This feels like Abigail is very early 20s. We're going to stick her closer to 22. Sam is also going to be closer to 22, possibly the youngest out of all of the bachelors and bachelorettes, because of a few lines of dialogue from Kent, his father. Sam has really grown up since I left. He's a man now. I wish I could have been there for him. I just can't imagine Kent saying this about some guy who's in his 30s or something like that. I feel like Kent is saying this because it's only been a few years since Sam has become an adult, and now he has a job at JojaMart. Sam also doesn't really help out Jody with the chores, and after marrying Sam, Jody will state, "How's Sam doing?" I have to admit, there's less cooking and cleaning to do since he moved out. I expand on this more in my video about Jody, titled Jody's Dark Secret, but I just feel like this shows a more youthful and immature side of Sam. So I'm going to stick with him being 22. And there y'all have it, my final order of all of their ages. From oldest to youngest, we have Harvey, Elliot, Shane, Leah, Emily, Sebastian, Maru, Penny, Alex, Haley, Abigail, and Sam. With that said, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching. I'd like to give a huge thank you to everyone for supporting the channel because we just hit 1K subs and got accepted into the YouTube Partner Program, so thank y'all so much for watching, commenting, liking, and subscribing. I stream pixel art in Stardew Valley on Twitch, so if you'd like to check that out, link in description. And if you've got a suggestion for the next video or some headcanons that y'all want to share, be sure to leave a comment down below, and make sure to subscribe to catch my next video. I'll be making more Stardew Valley videos, so keep an eye out. See y'all next time. Bye!